And welcome back to part 2 of What If Neji Killed Hinata. Last time on Naruto What If, we got through a bit. We got through Naruto's training, the match between him and Neji, and the ultimate realization and the actual dawning of what Neji did finally sinking in with him. And on the fact that Naruto is a fair bit stronger in this one. Not anything unrealistic, but the guilt of feeling that he was partly responsible, and maybe, at least in his mind, the main one responsible for getting Hinata killed, is what drove him to actually really improve at being able to access Kurama's chakra, sure, but actually getting his summoning jutsu down quicker, and even getting the Rasengan down by the end of the fight. And touching up on his hand-to-hand combat stuff as well. Now, real quick, someone did ask, wouldn't Jiraiya have taught him the frog Taz, or basically the frog-style combat, to counter Neji? And my answer to that is no. Not because he wouldn't learn it, but because Jiraiya himself, I don't think, is actually very well versed in that fighting style, because he's not actually very well versed in Sage Mode. That's a fighting style that lends itself specifically to using Sage Mode. And it's taught to him more by the two elders, Fugasu and, Shima. So, yeah, I don't think he would learn it from Jiraiya. But anyway, and Neji, we left off with Neji basically kind of just sobbing and mourning and like realizing everything he did. And now we're going to actually be doing a lot of fast forwarding, because everything in the rest of the chunin exams goes without a hitch. Nothing's changed there. So everything goes. The Sound of the Sand try their invasion. Naruto still does fall asleep. Kakashi sends them out. Nothing changes until we get to Naruto and Sakura intervening with the fight with Gaara and Sasuke. And he still pins Sakura there. He's like, Sakura! It's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Naruto Uzumaki. You'll die here. Your blood will make me feel alive. And he attacks. And Naruto, he's dodging, doing the best he can. He actually does, he actually even shows off the Rasengan, and Gaara does recognize his technique as the one that he used to, use against Neji. He's like, no, I won't let you. And, he smashes at Naruto, and he smashes Naruto with the sand. Naruto realizes he's being pushed back, smashes it into arm, and does blow the arm off. Doesn't hit Gaara's actual arm. That's being encased by a giant sand. It's like, that's cool. You're dangerous, Naruto Uzumaki. Perhaps you will be worthy of Mother's affection. Don't worry, Mother. You'll have so much blood soon! And, he's just going further and further into this Shikaku form. And Naruto ultimately, comes in again, throws a couple clones. A couple of them have a Rasengan in each hand. He's throwing everything he can at Gaara. And eventually, he sees Sasuke on the ground, sees Sakura, and he just, powers up the chakra, summons all the clones. He eventually gets that whole, boom, 1,000 years of death! Great, an enema. Blows him up and, wails on him. Except, I do think it's like, everywhere, Uzumaki barrage! But in this case, he also throws some Rasengans in there, and those don't tickle, even with the sand. Am I gonna lose to him? No, not to him. There's no way I'm gonna lose to a guy like him. I'm not alone in the house, so I'm not really screaming, doing my best impression. And he just transforms like, I thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. I'll give you a swift death. And, he thinks about Sakura, just summons Gamabunta. The rest of this fight goes pretty much without a hitch, though. I think really the only thing that changes is that Naruto actually gets a good fair more hits in the initial fight than he does in the later fight. So honestly, it goes the same. Third Hokage still passes on. Orochimaru's screwed with his arms. So we now again fast forward to Jiraiya asking Naruto to come find Tsunade with him. And Naruto, I think, is a definitely more prone to this. Like, yeah, he's like, but I really want to stay, but I gotta stay here and help people, help rebuild the village. And Jiraiya's like, kid's got these guys' priorities a bit more straight than I thought he would. That's true, your clones do help, Naruto, but there are other people who can use shadow clones, maybe not to the same extent. And besides, I'm gonna teach you some really cool stuff. It's like, really? Okay, fine, cool. And he heads off. It's like, let's go. See Itachi and Kasame come in, can't find Naruto. That's all well and good. Now, this does actually beg the question, when is Jiraiya going to teach him? Because he's now got the Rasengan, he's got the summoning. Well, Jiraiya feels that because he knows what the Rasengan is the precursor to, or what, in essence, what is allegedly going to be the precursor to, he figures this time, actually, let's just go and say, somebody going to teach me for every sage, huh? And something cool like the Rasengan? Oh, I'm going to teach you something even better than Rasengan. Actually, it's going to help you and the Rasengan out quite a bit. What? You see, Naruto, the Rasengan was actually an incomplete technique by the fourth. He had always intended to add his own natural chakra element into it to create a whole new, more powerful jutsu. Wait, natural chakra? I guess they never really taught you that, did you? And Naruto's like, you mean like like Sasuke does the fire and the fire jutsu, fire style and that Chidori thing, right? That's basically it. I'll explain. It's like there's everyone can use chakra on some extent. Every shinobi can, but there's the five natural elements of chakra, and he explains the relationship to them. You understanding me so far, Naruto? I was like, I think so. So there's this and this, basically, and every shinobi tends to have a special affinity towards at least one chakra. And it's like, but what about Sasuke? He was able to use two. Well, all the Uchiha or Nachi could use fire jutsu to begin with. It's part of their tradition. But doesn't mean they can't have another affinity as well. You may very well have more than one affinity, Naruto. Let's focus on the one for right now. And so, well, how are we going to figure it out? With this? It's like a piece of paper. It's a special type of paper, Naruto. The trees are specially raised to absorb chakra. What you'll do is you'll basically channel your chakra through there, and the result will determine what your element is. If it slices in half, you're wind. If it burns, you're fire. If it crinkles and turns to dust, you're earth. If it crinkles, you're a lightning, and if it turns wet, you're a water. So try it. And he channels chakra and says, you're a wind jutsu user, huh, kid? Yeah, that's actually pretty rare in the leaf. They're more common out in things like the sand and the rock village. But luckily for you, I could probably count on the top of my head the entirety of wind jutsu users that I know of that existed in the leaf. But that doesn't mean I can't help you out. I did have a pupil a while back who could also use wind. And so we'll start with that. Cool, what do we have to do? And here's the first. Then he goes, and after walking, plucks a leaf. This is your first test. You have to cut this leaf in half by using just your chakra. And, Naruto's like, all right, no problem. And he's like, it's not that easy, kid. And so Naruto mostly is spending time focusing on that. So Naruto, as he's doing, it's like, he's getting like little nicks and stuff like that. It's like, how am I supposed to? First, you said you had a student who knew how to do it, who was a wind, who knew how to use wind jutsu. So how did he do it? I never actually did ask him, but every element is slightly different. Earth is great for defense, but it can have offensive tendencies as well. It's a very blunt force element. Lightning is very erratic and random, and can be very precise when need be. Water is very clean, smooth, and flowing. It can also be very sharp. Wind, however, is good at grinding things away. So imagine that. Think of the cut as grinding two pieces of wind together, and to form two blades grinding together. Basically, the advice that was given, just like, and he does get the little nigga, like, oh man, I'm all right. I'm already part there. It's like, huh. He really is. He actually isn't doing too bad. And so they get to the village. Keep focusing on their show, right? And make sure to have a couple extra leaves on call in case you do get it. You want to be sure you have it down, right? And then so takes Naruto's money and all that. Ultimately, the fight with the interruption, if you will, with Itachi and Kasami happens. But that I don't see anything changing in that fight. Like Naruto might throw out the Rasengan. Itachi notices it and is like, so he did. So the rumors are true. He did learn that jutsu, but Kasame's Samahara would easily just absorb it. Jiraiya shows up. Everything goes the same. Again, we are left with them training looking for Tsunade. Him training. I do think Naruto finally gets the leaf down. He does get the leaf down because he actually ends up using some clones without again realizing what the clones are actually useful for. And so he gets it down, shows it off, just like, not bad, Brad, but we're going to have to travel a ways for the next part. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, unfortunately, I don't have a waterfall available. Wait, what? Although, in theory, Jiraiya does know earth jutsu. Does he know water jutsu? I know most toads know water jutsu. Jiraiya. Come on, Jiraiya. Give me Jiraiya. Jiraiya. I'll kill you, Jiraiya. Let's see here. What was the chocolate elements? I know fire and earth were definitely there. Did he have water under there too? Oh, he did have water. In fact, he had, well, okay, it says he has wind release too. I don't believe that. He knew how to teach wind. That doesn't mean he had wind. Now maybe I'm wrong on that. Let me see here. Chakra price, ninjutsu. Let's see, intelligence. Let's see here now. Can utilize. Where is this? When this must be from a data book or something, because despite the fact you know how to teach a jutsu, doesn't mean you actually have the element. Like, I see nothing in his jutsu roster that says he has wind jutsu, so I'm going to assume this might not be correct. At least that he knows how to teach it, doesn't have it. Those who can't do, teach, as the saying goes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just what the pedia says. The pedia isn't like 100% godsend accurate. But he does have water and earth. In theory, he could make a waterfall. We know Tenzo, that's what Tenzo did, but Tenzo also had wood release on his side. So, someone's here. Apparently my dog's going crazy. He did have wood release on his side. So, but let's just assume that Jiraiya can, for the sake of it. When we get to a stable place, we'll work on it. And started up, he basically said, wood, earth style, this and this. And it's like, whoa. And say, that's right. Took a little. I had to find the right spot so we could make this little makeshift waterfall for you. Why? Because that's the next thing you're going to cut, Naruto. For you to be able to use jutsu effectively in combat, you're going to need to cut this waterfall in half with just your chakra. And so Naruto gets to that. And he's spending the same amount of time he did on this that he did with Rasengan, which we know was a couple weeks, I think to even a couple months. Because they were looking for Tsunade for a little while. And by the time they're about to go and find Tsunade, Naruto, he's about as close as we saw initially, where we see the little, but nothing serious. Like Naruto's like, not using the clones at all. Naruto's like, what? It tires me out, unfortunately. It's like, that's probably for the best. The clones can be useful, certainly for this, but it's important that you be able to do this on your own. Come on, let's go. And so him and Jiraiya find Tsunade. They have that conversation with Tsunade, and Naruto challenges her. But again, this Naruto actually has the Rasengan down. And furthermore, he actually can, at least as we saw with the filler, he can kind of use wind jutsu without actually learning, the way to use wind jutsu, if that sentence makes sense. So Naruto confronts her, charges, and she flicks his forward. All of a sudden, he comes out again, like, please, that really all you can. All of a sudden, she sees the Rasengan in his hands, like, what? And he actually has to, it's like, damn, and she just, boom, it's just, to think you were able to, you have a jutsu like that. How are you going to teach it to someone who can never master it? It's like, I hate to tell you this, and then Dry actually dies, like, I don't think you were looking at the same technique I saw, and he seems to have it down pretty pat. It's like, and Tsunade is also drunk too, so maybe she wouldn't have noticed it. She just saw it in his hand. And he's like, you really want me to really show you how much I got down, Pat? I'll show you what it's going to be like, because why are you so touchy about Hokages and all that? And Naruto basically, because someday unlike you, I respect them. Someday I'm going to be a Hokage. And Naruto just gets both, actually does both in his hands. Because I can see Naruto dual wielding him. I actually see that being a form of hand-to-hand combat style. That'd be really cool. And she actually sees she actually sees them in his hand. It's like, he actually how the hell did he do? It's like, and then, poof, crap! And he actually hits the ground. And, craters it. It's like, damn it! But just as, it's almost over, he just, poof, and she actually gets a little nick on her cheeks. Like, and she realizes, what? How did you? And she sees. He's like, wow, he's actually come a long way. Ability to use the wind jutsu like that. You imagine like that even without actually using a jutsu. That's the kid's quite talented. And then Dry realizes, but as soon as she stalls and got up here, say, no, this Lady Tsunade. What was this? It's wind jutsu, you old hack. It's like, you. Yeah. And she's going back from anger to just trying to compose herself, which is like, and like not freak out. It's okay, it's okay. And Lisa, I mean, she's wiping up and she's quickly healing the cut. And she only briefly saw the blood, and she's like, you little. And Naruto's like, what did I do? Like, what's with her? And you can see she's like, she's got the, not I mean like, she wants to F him up right now. It's like, you little brat. You think some kid like you could really master your chakra? It's just a fool's dream. Something like you could never be Hokage. He's like, better chance than you. Just give me 3 more days and I'll have the Winchester down. It's like, brat like you? And she's saying this with a lot more malice in her voice than she did previously. Because he actually got a clean hit on her. Nothing that threatened her life or anything, but because of who she is, obviously, in her fear of blood, a clean hit on her that caused her to bleed is no joke. And he, it's like, I'll give you 1 week. I'll even throw my necklace as collateral. And if not, I get to keep everything that's in front of you. Hey, my wallet! That's enough, Naruto. And he's like, fine, you're on, you old bag. It's like, little brat. And so Naruto goes off, and Jiraiya's just looking at her, like, this isn't the Tsunade I remember. And, he has the conversation with Suzune, so does Naruto, and Naruto's looking at her, like, it still doesn't give her a right to make her problems everyone else's. And he's now training. And despite what Jiraiya said, he does throw a clone or 2 in there, just to make it a little easier on himself. Just, and week after week after week. And he's almost there by the end of the week. He's almost there. But, and even Jiraiya says, like, here, try this out. And, gives him the Gale Palm Jutsu to try out. And we know that even though there is hand science, Naruto's, like, actually trying to, because he already kind of, like, did a slicing motion with his chakra. He's trying to do it just without, a hand. Or without hand signs. And just, and finally the day comes. Obviously, they interrupt the fight with Orochimaru and Kabuto and Tsunade, and Jiraiya goes to confront Orochimaru. That's going about the same. Naruto, gets swallowed by the snake. Tries to attack Kabuto. It doesn't work. He's swallowed by the snake, but he quickly just Rasengan. Yeah, and Naruto comes in, and immediately when this is unlike before, where he just takes it, just boom. It's like, take this, you 4-eyed bastard. And then it's like, son of a, what? It's like, when did, that's right, crap. And Kabuto actually completely forgot because he hadn't used it up until that point. He only saw it briefly with his fight with Neji. The Rasengan is just, he boom. And Naruto's like, wind style, Gale Palm. And basically it's the, kind of like how with Neji, the threat of, death, the thrill of, the moment, just boom, and he actually launches the Rasengan. Something I've always liked the idea of is using another jutsu with chakra enhancing it to launch Rasengan. That's why whenever I create the Tornado Fist Explosion from Yu Hakusho, I like the idea that it envelops the Rasengan and fires it at the opponent. Something kind of similar here. It's not going to do anywhere near the same like that technique would, but it actually does launch it a couple feet past Naruto and actually throws a Kabuto back. So the minute he goes for Naruto, he still hits Naruto, but because Naruto actually launched it and threw him back a bit, he's like, he didn't get a full hit on Naruto, so he more nipped is in the right turn. He did. It's not like flat out hit him, but it's more like he grazed him. And more hit like his outer like muscles, his chest area. Even though he's still like he's coughing, he's not passing out. He's just, told you I'd have that down, Granny. So you did. You better not die on me, Grandma, because I'm about to collect on that bet. I told you I'd collect on that bet. And he is breathing heavy, but it's not like. He's not like passing out. He's more like he's just like out of breath. And, Tsunade's like, I got you. I don't worry. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. And finally he kind of stabilizes and just, of course I'm not going to die. You still owe me. After all, I won. And he's looking at her. He's tired. Like, he just went through a lot, but he's just, because to be Hokage, it's your dream, right? You know it. Believe it. And it's like, she just just one more time. I'm going to put everything I have on you. And then Orochimaru comes and Naruto's like, I can't move. Damn it. And she takes the blade, but she also cracks him straight in the face. No, Hinata, you must let me kill that boy. He'll become a nuisance, and it'll become a big problem for all of us if I don't. It's like, I won't let you. It's like, Tsunade, wait, let me heal your wounds. And the rest of the fight goes the same, except Naruto is conscious for this, so he sees everything happening. And ultimately, I think here he accepts, this is where he accepts the fact that she's going to be the fifth. Except it's more like, what? She's going to be the fifth? It's like, yeah. It's like, that was the job, Naruto. And he just looks at her, and he sees her as she is. And she's like, yeah, it's like, you better do the old man proud. You got that, Granny? And she's angry to hear that, but at the same time she smiles like, you disrespectful little brat. Of course, I'm gonna do everything I can on the Saratobi Sensei. And so they leave. It's all happy. She heals up Sasuke. Sakura goes, Sasuke, Naruto, and Tsunade just looks at it and is like, so that's the girl you like? And it's like, kind of. I would say this. While he sure probably still has the crush on her, the death of Hinata has probably weighed on him a little bit, due to the fact that I think after some time, maybe Neji finally, someone has probably come up, maybe Ino or someone, has actually mentioned to Naruto that she actually really liked you, and Naruto's like, felt stupid for not seeing it. And he actually had to think on that for a while. Now, I could have added that for a later part, but I think because there was enough time between the end of the invasion and Jiraiya and him leaving, there was definitely days between there. So I think and there was the training he did the month prior. So I think someone probably could have come up and mentioned this to him. Because I'm sure he would have gone to Hinata's funeral. I feel like he felt guilty for it, and he wanted to be there. And I bet it would have been Kurenai. Kurenai would probably have been the one. And while he probably still very much likes Sakura, at least as a friend, and probably still a crush on her, he is noticing more and more, I think, that she doesn't see him that way. She's always obsessing over Sasuke and all this. It's like, is it worth to just get your heart broken that many times? And, especially when there was someone there who actually did like him, and he just was stupid, too bullheaded to notice. Yeah, he just weighs on that just weighs on him a little bit. And Tsunade can see this and don't worry, Naruto. There's someone out there for everyone. You'll find them someday. It's like, thanks. Thanks, Granny. He's like, will you stop calling me that, brat? We'll stop being Granny, and I will. And they kind of have a little grandmother-grandson moment kind of thing. Even though she's not his actual grandmother, she's old enough to be, and by relation, she is an Uzumaki, although the distance in relation is probably massive. So they are technically related. So anyway, that is where we're ultimately going to end things off with part 2. Join us again on Wednesday for part 3. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. And I'll catch you folks on the flip side.